Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing very well out there. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and welcome to another Beyond Astro weekly forecast here on the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. I'm very happy to be here with you all on this very interesting and exciting Sunday evening here in Belgium, where I am at the moment. And I'm going to explain why that is. Going to be sharing the astrology for the week of Sunday, June 9th to Saturday, June 15th. So, how's it going out there, everybody? Let me know in the live chat if you're watching live, or in the comments below if you're, of course, watching the replay. And yes, there is a cattail here with me. I've got my my cat son Ocean here, who is going to say hi to everybody. Say hi. We're going to talk about the astrology with everybody. He likes to join me for these lives. So yeah, as always, everybody, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channels as well. And I do offer personal astrology consultations that are available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. The link is in the description box of this video. So thank you guys so much for saying hello to Ocean. He's saying hello back to all you guys. Hello, Nine Lives Energy. Nice to see you here. And hello, Tracy. Thank you, everyone, for watching live and joining me live. It's always fun when we're live together and we can talk and share about the astrology and how it's going. So this week coming up astrologically, you guys know that I will tell it like it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. This is a week we are stepping into, yes, we are in Gemini season, which is one of the lighter signs in Western astrology. It's very social, active, fun, very stimulating, lots of information coming out. Linda's saying, so tired today. I'm feeling the same way, Linda. So I'm with you, sister. Nice to see you here. Yeah, Gemini season is a light energy, but this week we are stepping into astrologically, as I'm going to go into more detail about. We've got Sun square Saturn. We've got Mars square Pluto. We do have a really beautiful Mercury kazimi on Friday, June 14th. But today, as I'm filming this video on Sunday, June 9th, we are having exact Sun square Granddaddy Saturn, an adverse aspect, and also Mars square Pluto, which is going to be exact on Tuesday. So this is some really intense adverse aspects. This is a week where we can be feeling more tired than usual. Okay, Kristen in the chat is also saying, so tired. Yeah, and Christian is saying, are we all exhausted from the matrix? I think so, Christian. I think that's a really good point. Yeah, we can be feeling more tired than usual. We can be feeling more moody than usual. These are all the malefic planets this week, Saturn, Mars, and Pluto, in an adverse aspect. So the energy is wonky. The energy is intense. And if there's points this week where you're thinking, what the heck? Why am I feeling so weird? Or why am I feeling so easily triggered? Or why is everybody around me going a little bit nuts? It's because this is a funky week in the astrology. So let's bring up the charts. But as we get to the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, I think it's going to lighten up a bit, but definitely Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and going into Thursday, it is going to be some choppy astrological waters, if you will. So today is Sunday, June 9th. We've got the sun at 19 degrees of Gemini. We've got the moon in Cancer. Actually, I'm just checking this chart. This was from this morning. So yeah, sun is still 19 degrees Gemini. The moon has by now ingressed into Leo. So this is the chart for the exact moment of the sun square Saturn today, which was actually at 6:35 a.m. Eastern time. So today is exact sun square Saturn, and sun square Saturn, Granddaddy Saturn, as I like to call him, is a point of tension. This is a point of creative tension when we have squares with Saturn. The sun rules our consciousness, our life. Saturn is structures and systems of society, the government, authority figures, and practicality. So we can be noticing in some of those Saturnian ruled areas it being a little funny today with the practical side of life, with authority figures, government. And where I am in Belgium at the moment, in Europe, we're having some very heated elections today. So we're going to talk about that a bit in today's Beyond Astro. But for all of us, no matter where we are in the world, in our personal lives with this energy, we can be receiving reality checks. And this is not just for today, you guys. This is also for the next few days we're in this Sun square Saturn. It's just exact today. In our personal lives, we can be receiving reality checks that we need to face around new information coming forward. Our mental health is very highlighted with Saturn in Pisces. So we've got the Sun, 19 degrees of Gemini, with Saturn at 19 degrees of Pisces. And you know, Saturn's been in Pisces since March of last year. Granddaddy Saturn does not really like to be in Pisces. Okay, he's not comfortable there because Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. He's very practical, he's very responsible, he's very grounded, and Pisces is the most ungrounded sign in astrology. So Saturn doesn't really have a lot of fun in the Western astrology being in Pisces. Pisces is, you know, we get more of the adverse effects when Saturn is in a square to a planet, such as right now with the Sun, and this can be affecting people's mental health. Okay, so this is where people can be feeling, and I'm not wishing this upon anybody, just saying this is the astrology for right now. People can be feeling more moody, more depressive, more low. And in particular, if you are a Capricorn, Aquarius, which are the signs ruled by Saturn, you might be feeling that more so than the other signs. Or if you're a Pisces, because Saturn is in Pisces, you may be feeling that more so than the other signs. People's mental health can be going through a struggle. Kind of like what Christian was saying in the live chat earlier, a lot of us are feeling tired of the matrix. Saturn rules the matrix. We can definitely be feeling the heaviness of the matrix that is falling away and dying at this time. Right. And also with Saturn being in Pisces and square to the Sun, you know, Pisces rules the medical field, pharmaceuticals, drugs. Saturn rules institutions and governments. And isn't it interesting that this week the news came out? Actually, it was today, I believe, that let me bring this up here actually, because I want to show you guys the exact article. mRNA shots are not. So I saw today that the you-know-what shots are now being declassified from being official vaccines. I got to be careful with my words here because we're on YouTube. And I'm trying to find this article and it's not coming up. What was the website I saw this on earlier? Sorry, guys. I thought I had an article up and I don't have this article up. But I think some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Today, there was news that came out. It was some kind of jurisdiction in the US said the mRNA shots are not even real vaccines or something. So all this information, yeah. April Appling has said, I read that too. And this has been a theme for the whole past article. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying that you've seen it as well. This has been a theme for the whole past week, like a total Saturnian reality check around the medical system and pharmaceuticals ruled by Pisces, things that have been injected into people. So, you know, those of us that are light workers, star seeds, you know, awake to the matrix, we're tired because we've been aware of this information for a really long time and it's challenging to be in that self-awareness. And now there's the people that are, you know, just waking up now from these really harsh Saturnian reality checks of what the truth is with the medical system. This is some tough stuff. So this can be, you know, with it being Gemini season, some tough conversations that we need to have with some loved ones that are maybe going, you know, what the F is going on here? Might be saying to us, you know, sorry, you were right. Can we talk about this information that you know, because I feel like I'm going crazy. This is a week, and I'm feeling spirit say this very strong right now as I'm talking. This is a week where people's mental health is being tested. Okay, so I'm not wishing that upon anybody, but with Saturn in Pisces that rules mental health in square to the sun, which represents our vitality and our consciousness, people can be feeling really on edge, especially with the Mars square Pluto that we're going to be having on Tuesday. Very important to not take things personally from people this week. Cheryl Stotman, hi Cheryl, says, did you see Macron dissolved the parliament because of heavy losses? I just saw that before I went live, and I'll bring up that article in a minute. Thank you, Cheryl. So yeah, it's a heavy energy this week. I'm just going to be honest with you guys with this Sun square Saturn, Mars square Pluto. So also with the Sun square Saturn, this week in the collective news, Gemini rules news regarding the medical and pharmaceutical systems, Pisces, that is challenging to hear. Saturn will continue. Okay, this will continue. So it's important that our loved ones that we are around that may be really tripped out by some information that's coming out, to be patient with them, to, not force any conversations. But if some people are ready to have some conversations, being open to doing that. Sorry, my cat just fell down on the floor. Yeah, and we've got the squares happening at 19 degrees when it was exact this morning between the Sun and Saturn, which is a Libra degree, which is about our committed relationships, our love partnerships, our committed work partnerships, people that we have commitments to, and our own personal commitments are being highlighted. So again, with the Sun square Saturn, the signs that will be the most affected are Leos, because they're ruled by the Sun, Geminis, because the Sun is in Gemini, Capricorns and Aquarians, because they're ruled by Saturn, and Pisces, because Saturn is in Pisces. So Leos, Geminis, Capricorns, Aquarians, and Pisces, if you're feeling a little bit more maybe tired or moody or just funky energy going on, could have likely to do with this Sun square Saturn. And this is really, really freaking intense, you guys, that we are having Sun square Saturn at the same time as Mars square Pluto. Okay. Again, we can be feeling frustrated, angry, easily triggered. And it's really important to not take things personally. And I'm just going to keep saying that. I know that's something that I say often, but I'm just going to keep saying that because I think it's really important. And it's also important to be, when we feel anger or frustration coming up, expressing that in healthy ways. So an astrological remedy that we can actually be doing this week to avoid unnecessary arguments, to release anger or frustration that is coming up, is to do physical activity. Okay, so which might actually be harder to do because a lot of us can be feeling tired with the Sun square Saturn and the Mars square Pluto, but going for walks, dancing, doing yoga, just moving your body, which is Mars, and Mars rules anger and frustration, will be an astrological remedy for having this really intense energy this week. So yeah, I find it interesting that with the Sun square Saturn over here in Europe, we're having this big election day right now as I speak, 2024 EU election, big day of voting as millions head to the polls. And this is the whole of the European Union is voting today in their respective countries for new prime ministers and also for the EU parliamentary members. So it's really being focused in the EU in terms of governments. And I was doing some astrological nerding out earlier today, and I discovered that, the Mars-Pluto square that we're having right now, but it will be exact on Tuesday, is Mars at 1 degree of Taurus in square to Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. And this crazy chart that I've got up here, you guys, is called a transit chart, where we've got the European Union's chart in the middle ring. And then we've got where the planets are going to be, the transit planets in the outer ring on Tuesday, June 11th. And you can't make this stuff up, you guys. The Mars in the Mars square Pluto on June is going to be exactly conjunct, well, just a few minutes off of being conjunct, but the same degree and sign, the midheaven of the European Union. So not only is it really intense because it's a Sun square Saturn, but this Mars square Pluto is right conjunct the midheaven of the European Union. Okay, this is really heavy duty astrology for Europe this week. And earlier today, I made a TikTok and I shared it on my social media, kind of like warning the Europeans, like, watch out, this is going to be a really intense week energetically for anybody in Europe, anybody within a country in the European Union. So there will definitely be tension around who is elected as new leaders, because the midheaven in astrology rules leaders, public figures, people being seen publicly. It's the start of the 10th house in astrology, which rules governments and politicians. So there's going to be tension around who is elected and major power struggles. And I think a lot of tension from the leaders that are going to be losing their positions of power. I'm predicting that there will be a lot of WEF, if you know what I mean, leaders losing their power that will be really pissed off about it. Mars on the midheaven, which represents leadership, being in the public. I'm predicting this week that we may see a European prime minister or leader in parliament like publicly have a total freak out because they've maybe lost their position of power or something didn't go the way they wanted to. Because this is Mars not only conjunct the midheaven and in square to Pluto, these are two malefics, really intense. It's at an Aries degree, 1 degree. Mars rules Aries, anger, frustration. I want it my way, right? Ego. So we're going to see, and maybe multiple leaders in Europe have like a total hissy fit, a total freak out, maybe do something really effed up, even with that square to Pluto. So I'm going to be looking at what's going to be going on. Yeah, Linda says, might be a fun week to watch the news. LOL. Yeah, it definitely will be. And it's going to be shocking. It is going to be shocking, okay? Because the European Union, and if you guys have been watching my personal content or our content on Beyond Mystic, you know, I've said this many times. The European Union right now has Uranus at 24 degrees of Taurus, exactly conjunct its moon, which represents the people in a country or institution's chart. Uranus is total instability, total unpredictability, total shocks and surprises. So this is going to be a very entertaining week to see how things are going to play out. Very interesting. And the people, which is represented by the moon in Europe, want freedom, want independence. They have freaking had enough, right? So we can also see some really big protests kicking off for sure. So major power struggles in Europe this week, and possible major protests. And I'm not calling for violence around anybody, but I just have to say as an astrologer that Mars square Pluto is one of the most violent astrological aspects. And with that Mars exactly conjunct the midheaven of the European Union's chart in square to Pluto, we could see some political leaders possibly get violent themselves, or someone tries to do something violent towards them. So I'm not calling for that. I'm just reading the astrology. It's really freaking intense. So I'm giving out I was going to say red flag, but I don't think anything negative is going to happen to the people. It's just really big energy to be aware of. Okay. Really freaking intense. Lorianne says, I am always blown away by how Meg can read and comprehend the degrees of astrology. Well, thank you, Lorianne. I'm very passionate about the degrees of the astrology. And, you know, the degree theory developed by the late and great Nikola Stoyanovich, genius master astrologer. So I have to shout that out to him because that's his degree theory. Van Torn says, I love you, Meg. I love you too. I love all you guys too. So, yeah, we're going to see some people very, very happy with the results of the European election, and some people very, very unhappy. It's going to be a really, really mixed bag. So it's going to be really interesting to witness that. So with the Mars square Pluto, oh, and I did bring up this article I just saw right before I went live. EU elections 2024, Emmanuel Macron, do not like that guy, dissolves French parliament and calls snap election after huge far-right gains. So, yeah, this is going to be crazy week in Europe, you guys. A very just unexpected, turbulent, snappy elections, all kinds of things. So, I think Macron is about to lose his power. I think a bunch of these guys are about to lose their power. And wouldn't, to be honest with you guys, this lady drives me nuts. I don't know about you guys. Ursula von der Leyen, ugh. She might be the one who has a total freak out or does something really stupid live publicly, because she's the, what's she called, you guys? I'm having a brain fart. She's like the head of the European Parliament or whatever. She's like the head of the European Union or something. So she might be a one that has a total hissy fit about how so much of the, really right conservative groups are being voted in these elections. Someone's going to have a hissy fit in the European Parliament. So I'm going to look forward to that, because that's going to be really funny to watch. But for all of us, whether we're in Europe or not, this Mars square Pluto is going to be exact on Tuesday, June 11th. We are in the energy of it right now. So as I'm filming this video, Mars is at 0 degrees of Taurus, Pluto's at 1 degrees of Aquarius. So it's really strong right now, but it's going to be exact on Tuesday. And for all of us, no matter where the heck we are, this is one of the most intense aspects in astrology. This is a tense and volatile day. The last time that we had a Mars square Pluto was on October 7th, 2023. And does anybody remember what happened on October 7th, 2023? I think it was 2 days before October 7th, 2023. I was doing a Beyond Astro weekly forecast. And I said, okay, everybody watch out, because we're about to have a Mars square Pluto this week. This is one of the most violent aspects in astrology. And I don't want for there to be anything violent that happens, or I don't want for there to be any war, but that is a possibility that can come up. And then what happened on October 7th? The whole situation in the Middle East went haywire and even more intense. Gaza. Yeah, Murray says, yeah, Gaza. So we've been dealing with that. Now we've got another Mars square Pluto, with the Mars exactly conjunct the midheaven of the European Union. So it's going to be Europe that's highlighted. But the difference with the Mars square Pluto now and the Mars square Pluto then is Mars is at detriment in Taurus. Mars is not in a strong position in Taurus. So I don't see this as really being focused around war per se. I could be wrong about that. I think it's more our personal emotions as a collective. With Pluto in Aquarius now, and we had Pluto in Capricorn back then last time. So this is more around our personal angers and frustrations, people being very easily triggered. So again, I'm going to say, do not take things personally. Know that we are going to be more likely to just feel on edge this week. And if you don't feel that, then great. But the signs that are most likely to feel a little bit funky are Scorpios and Aries, because Scorpios are ruled by Mars and Pluto. So the Scorpios will be the most intense this week. Watch out, Scorpios. And I am a Scorpio. Aries, because they're ruled by Mars. Taurus, because Mars is in Taurus. And Aquarius, because we've got Pluto in Aquarius. So Scorpios, Aries, Taurus, and Aquarius, sun, moon, and risings. I want you all to be maybe doing a little astrological remedy this week of doing some extra self-care, doing some extra physical exercise to offset any funky energies that might be coming up, any excessive anger, frustration, or triggers that you may be feeling. Tracy66 Tracy says, ground, ground, ground. Yes, very good advice, Tracy. And Kiwi says, breathe in and out. Yes, very, very good advice, Kiwi. So it's going to be intense. And let me know in the chat if you guys are feeling that already. And I would also be very mindful of any situations that you put yourself in this week, particularly in cities, particularly where there's going to be a lot of people, events. When we've got Mars square Pluto, it's not the best time to be around a lot of people at big events, to be in big cities. So just saying, you guys, just be extra mindful of all that. Okay. Now, to end off the week, we do have something very positive happening. Okay. So from today till the 13th. It's going to be a funky energy. Then when we get into Friday, June 14th, it's going to lighten up a bit, okay? Because we're going to have exact Mercury kazimi, which is when the sun and Mercury exactly conjunct. It's one of the most sacred aspects in astrology. In the sign of Gemini, which is Mercury's domicile, Mercury's home sign. So that's very positive. And by Friday, the Mars square Pluto will have eased off significantly. They will be within a 3-degree orb. So it's still strong, but it's not as intense as it is going to be today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. So again, guys, be warned for that Mars square Pluto. People are just more aggressive with Mars square Pluto. But as we get into Friday, Mercury kazimi, Friday, June 14th, this is really special because we do have kazimis, on a regular basis with Mercury, because Mercury, of course, is the closest planet to the sun in our solar system. But this is a really special one because Mercury is at home in the sign of Gemini, exactly conjunct the sun on June 14th at 24 degrees of Gemini. So for those of you who have never heard of a kazimi before, this is an ancient Arabic word meaning in the heart of the sun. And when a planet exactly conjuncts the sun, from our Earth's perspective, it's very, very sacred, and we're directly receiving downloads from source, from the sun, and from the wisdom of that planet. And Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is all about truth, freedom of speech, facts, common sense, information, clarity. Gemini and Mercury rule the mind, right? So this is a day that we've gone through this. We're going to go through a very intense week with the sun square Saturn and then the Mars square Pluto, and watching all these things kick off and develop in Europe. Wowzers, it's going to be very interesting to watch. And then as we get into Friday, there's clarity that we can receive with this Mercury kazimi for the collective, for ourselves personally. You're going to want to see where you have Gemini 24 degrees in your personal astrology, because this will be an area of life that you can be receiving great clarity in, or very important information. So that's something to watch out for. The house that 24 degrees of Gemini falls in, and if you have any planets 24 degrees. Steve and Ellen says Trump's birthday. Is that Trump's birthday? June 14th? I've got his chart. Let me bring that up. Trump birthday. Oh my God, that is Trump's birthday. Okay, well, that's going to be good for Trump, having a Mercury kazimi on his solar return. And I was actually going to bring up Trump because Trump was born on a day where the sun was at 22 degrees of Gemini. So actually, Trump is going to have his exact solar return on Thursday, most likely. I can't calculate it exactly at the top of my head, but it's going to be Thursday because his sun is 22 degrees. Friday, the sun will be at 24 degrees. So he's having this Mercury kazimi and Venus, a great benefic, in Gemini, right conjunct his sun. So part of this information or news, and this Mercury kazimi can very much be around good news, because Venus, the great benefic, is conjunct. This could be regarding Trump. One of the things in the collective that could come up is regarding Trump. Maybe, I don't know the whole ins and outs of his case, but maybe that gets thrown out, or maybe there's some kind of really positive development that happens. So that's going to be exciting. But for all of us in our personal lives, look at where you have 24 degrees Gemini in your chart, because that's going to be a beautiful area of life where we're receiving some clarity and some blessings. And also that kazimi is at 24 degrees, which is a Pisces degree. So it's like direct spiritual downloads and insights, because Pisces is the 12th sign in astrology, the last sign of the other side, of divine truths, of divine inspiration. So I love all this Gemini energy that we got going on now with Jupiter in Gemini for the whole next year, which is also going to be good for Trump. Okay, that's one of the most positive things you can have In astrology, you guys, when Jupiter is either in your Jupiter sign, we call that a Jupiter return, or if Jupiter is in your sun, moon, rising sign, which Trump is going to have that for the whole next year, being in Gemini and having his North Node, and I think he has his Uranus in Gemini as well. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. And oh my God, these shows go by so fast. I feel like I've been talking for 5 minutes and I've been talking for 30 minutes. So let me know if you guys are finished or bored with me. But as always for the week, let's pull a card with the astrology to see what's our divine guidance. And lately I've been really feeling these Starseed Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. I really like these cards. So let's see. Intense week, Sun squared Saturn, Mars squared Pluto. God, please help us with the energy of this week, sending love and light to Europe, to all of us. And what is our divine guidance from the Starseed Oracle for this week? I feel like Friday, I'm feeling intuitively like Friday. I knew we were going to pull this card. I knew it. I'm feeling intuitively like Friday will be a really big energy shift coming out from today, Sunday, going into Thursday with that Mercury kazimi on Friday. And I'm getting chills when I say that. It'll be like a really positive energy shift, some really positive news after a lot of really intense events that have occurred. So that's something to look forward to. We've got Whale and Orca Elders, which I've been pulling this card a lot lately. And even in my personal consultations, the whales and the dolphins and their medicine and energy has been coming up a lot. So we've got Whale and Orca Elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. And, you know, the whales and the orcas are all about vibrational medicine, sound healing. They make very healing sounds with their voice. So this is a week where maybe it's good to go to a sound bath. I mean, there's lots of sound baths all over the place now. That's one of my most favorite things, to calm down the nervous system, to go get some sound healing, to do some sound healing yourself, or to sing, to process through the energies. Share your song, be confident in your song, and listen, be mindful of the music that you're listening to, because that also affects our vibration. Excuse me. Very importantly. And I'm feeling so sound healing can be a good ally. Mardove 999 says, listen to whale songs. Yeah, you can listen to whale songs. I love listening to whale songs. We've also got, wow, I've never pulled this card. The Courageous Pony. Multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. The Courageous Pony. Well, I think we are all courageous ponies because we have decided to be alive right now during these crazy times. So embrace your courageousness. I'm hearing Spirit say, like, remember that it's a gift to be here, and we're not going to be here forever. And we're witnessing such a beautiful time on this earth, such amazing shifts. We are courageous ponies. We are multifaceted. And share your song. Whale and Orca Elders. Love these cards. They're so cool. Okay. So I think I've shared all my main points for the astrology this week. And I love doing these Beyond Astros on Sunday evenings now. I hope you guys enjoy it too. And I feel like it makes sense because Sunday is the first day of the week in our current calendar system that we have. So it's nice to start right at the beginning of the week and look at the whole week coming up. So again, you guys, I know I've said it several times, just take care out there, do extra self-care, be extra self-aware. I'm rhyming in this Gemini season with these very intense astrological aspects that we have. I'm sending so much cosmic love your way to everyone. And also remember, you guys, that I do personal astrology consultations as well that are available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. The link is in the description box of this video if you'd like more of a personal reading with me. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. I love you guys so, so much, and I'm wishing you an absolutely magical week. Mwah! Bye.